Mandela effects, and known truths. This is what happened after I dove down the rabbit hole in search of a better energy source for my home. It's getting quite expensive. The greed is out of control. So I'm currently trying to develop a way with using over unity, which is a gearing system. You take two identical motors, one is the input, one's output, fire the one up, and the energy that you put into the first motor produces an increased effect. That the end result is that the final motor works as the alternator, puts out more current than is put in. So the output is greater than the input. So it becomes a what's it called? A self-prime pump, self-running machine. It's not an infinite machine. It's not a perpetual motion. There are going to be mechanical parts that break down and stuff, but I mean, the possibilities are out there. There's a lot of good stuff on that, but you YouTube, you slip left, right, boom, boom, down the rabbit hole, looking at other stuff, and ended up putting together a pretty large collection of things that I found. I went to the library, opened books up, copied pages, cut the pages out, made like a scrapbook. I don't know. It's difficult when there's so much information out there, and how you navigate that, and what's true and what's not true. It's just and so many people just throw stuff out there and like, here, this is real. Did you do your homework? Did you? 5 minutes of time, really, and everybody so quick to discredit these online sites. YouTube this, YouTube. Oh, you got your information from YouTube. Well, I mean, when somebody does an unbiased experiment and puts it out on YouTube, and then 2 weeks later that video magically gets deleted, after a while you start saying, why would they just take that off? I mean, it's just, somebody's thoughts. It's somebody's research. What's the big deal on, somebody's... You're about to find out. I'll give you a little background about me. Not just an average guy. I got 3 kids, a wife, mom, dad. I graduated high school, did a little college, wasn't for me. Tried my hand at dozens of jobs, just really weren't my thing. I don't like working for people, feeling like I'm treated like a number. So I started working for myself, and I've been in sales, all sorts of stuff, sales and telemarketing, door to door. I've car sales, old Christmas trees, a lot of entrepreneurial stuff, Beanie Babies, Pokemon, yada yada. And then I've been fixing houses. Currently, I'm specializing in waterproofing basements and rejuvenating them, bringing them back to life, and it's pretty rewarding. But this whole last month, I've not been able to do much, but just kind of compile this grouping of knowledge together so that I can speed up the process of waking people up a little bit. Maybe that's my job. I looked into the word light worker, and I don't know if you've heard that before, but it's a person that comes to this earth to try to shed light in a dark world. And I also feel as I'm a truther too. I don't know if you've heard that expression, but that's someone that just likes to dive down that rabbit hole and find out what is the truth, what's really going on, and how things work. And right now, how the place that we live. How does that work? You hear everybody say, oh, well, this smart guy said this smart guy over here said this, and, we got a whole bunch of words saying that this is how it is. And after you've been lied to so many times, you stop believing all the stuff that's right in front of you. And then when you realize that all the media is owned by 6 corporations, 6. What kind of unbiased information do you think you're going to get there? I'm just a guy. I don't even make $100,000 a year. what would I possibly have to do from your enlightenment right now? Nothing. No financial gain. What if this video gets 1 million hits? I'm going to make a couple of dollars. There's no way that this video is ever going to get past 1 million hits, 1 million views. They're going to delete it. It's just, that's how it is. So, anywho, I just want to jump into this. I don't mean to ramble on too much, but I think a lot of this is critical. You know, I want my kids to grow up in a nice place. You know, I want the world to be a better place. You know, some say I may be a dreamer. Anyway, now Mandela effect. We're going to start right with that. Mandela effect is basically the changing of our past. Our timeline has changed. The things that a lot of us remember aren't the same anymore. For example, Mickey Mouse used to have suspenders, red suspenders. He does not anymore. Mona Lisa had a smile. That's gone. Unicorn, matrix, couch. These are words now found in the King James Version Bible. Jiffy peanut butter was never called Jiffy. It was always Jif. Scarecrow has a pistol. Tony the Tiger has a blue nose and yellow eyes. A couple other cartoon characters. Tom, yellow eyes. But it's called the It's called the Mandela effect because people remember him dying in 1990s, and apparently he died in 2013. Curious George lost his tail. Oscar Mayer is now Oscar Mayer. I'm still pronounced the same, but it's My Baloney has the first name. It's O-S-E-A-R. My Baloney has the second name. It's M-A-Y-E-R. And the jingle, the kid, the whole jingle, everything, the Wienermobile. That's all right. So as you're trying to scramble, wrap your head around that, if you unaware of the Mandela effects at this point, let's just agree on one thing: that your reality is not what you thought it was. It's not what we thought. It's not what we've been told. You know, there's so many things being hidden from us. If you need some time to hit pause, and if not, just carry on, because it's going to get nuts. It's really, if you think that's crazy, if you think the stuff go look, it's risky business. Tom Cruise with the sunglasses, Ray-Bans, they're gone. The white shirt is a pink striped shirt. So how does this stuff change in your house? How does this, the theory is that either we're changing, there's a couple theories. One of them is that we're trapped, people are going back and forth in time with CERN, altering the time-space continuum, if that's a thing. The other theory is that we're merging, realities are merging together. We're going from 4-dimension to a 5-dimension, or a 3-dimension to a 4-dimension. I don't know. The rabbit hole's really big, and I don't have all the answers. I'm just telling you what I know that 99.9% certain of at this point. It's going to be really hard to convince me of some other stuff after I've seen what I've seen. So, anywho, our reality's not the same. It's crazy. We're going to have to agree on that one real quick. Another thing we agree on: governments lie. You guys, nobody here probably thinks that Lee Harvey Oswald had a magic bullet in his rifle and shot this incredible angle as the car's driving away from him through a tree. Another real quick Mandela effect that's associated with that. Most of you probably remember 4 people being in the vehicle, driver, the guy ahead of him, JFK, that got shot too, Governor Connolly. He's the one that got, he was just right in front of JFK, and then JFK, Kennedy, Mrs. Kennedy, to the left. That was it. Now it's a limo, a stretch limo, 6 people. There's an extra woman ahead of Mrs. Kennedy, Jackie, right ahead, and and then there's the two Secret Service in the front. Anywho, so yeah, so they lied, saying that, and how many other lies since then. It's this is a deep thing. So yeah, a lot of the rabbit hole is just lies and cover-ups that they try to say is a conspiracy theory, but it's actually just rational people thinking and doing just a little bit of homework, or a lot of homework in my case, to try to actually say, are they really lying about all this stuff? Yeah. So yeah, Gulf of Tonkin, if you don't know, that was a lie about an attack on two ships, just to create a war against Vietnam. I mean, the reasons for it, not for this video, don't really matter. Obviously, I mean, they matter because 500,000 people. But they lied. They got caught, lied. Operation Northwoods was a proposed and almost implemented false flag operation against the Cuban government in '62. The proposals were for CIA and other government operatives to commit acts of terrorism against American civilians and military targets used to create a war against Cuba. JFK rejected it, and a year later, we know what happened there. All right, so 9/11. It surprises me that there's still a handful of people that think that this was orchestrated by some guy, halfway across the planet here with, no real technological access, really, to perpetrate this. It's lunacy. Here's the nuts and the bolts of that real quick. It's and it's pretty simple. I don't know how Larry Silverstein, he purchased the entire Trade Center for $15 million of his own money. He had some investors helping him out with another 100. So, nothing. 2 months prior to the attacks, they received $5 billion because it was a terrorist attack. How is there, if you light your house on fire, and then you say, I need an insurance check from that for that $100,000 that my house is valued at. Don't they do a bit of an investigation? I mean, they like to. They don't. I don't think insurance companies as a whole like to give away their money. They like to keep it. So they got to be in on it. They just got to be in on it. I mean, who? Would you write a check for $5 billion if a guy just bought the place 2 months prior and put terrorist insurance on it? The building was full of asbestos. Would have cost over $10 billion to remove every bit of it properly. They'd be the worst investment in the history of real estate if they didn't get hit by planes. They could never get a permit to demo the building. And can you imagine what the evacuation plan would be needed to go through with that whole matter? 2 million people, pack it up. No work for 2 weeks, you gotta, So, yeah, that should be enough proof right there for you. But, in part 2, I got pictures that show, what birds do to a plane compared to what a 22-ton, 1 foot thick chunk of steel would do to a plane. Just go look at the crash test of planes. They drive them into just concrete, not reinforced structural steel, which is way stronger than concrete. I don't care how strong you make the concrete, structural steel will be stronger. And the fact that it all just melted and then China takes it away and quick. Anyway, so false flags like 9/11 are very common. You don't need to look hard to see the differences. These can make you uncomfortable, but the truth needs to be heard. One very big one. Stay with me on this one. This is going to hurt a lot of people, and a lot of people really want to grab onto this notion that a bunch of kids were slain at Sandy Hook. And listen, don't be mad at the messenger, but first of all, if just stay with me for 1 minute. I know this is probably where most people are going to bail out on me, but listen. On the 14th of December 2012, nobody was injured, even. Not even, I mean, maybe somebody got a scratch, but these are all crisis actors. And the biggest proof I have, there's a gentleman on there that put out an article on Christmas Day 2009, 3 years prior. Pretty much the entire town was purchased. All the mortgages were paid off. And there's documents on this. You can't lie. You know, what offices do you think are going to be signing over hundreds of real estate deeds on one day, let alone a day that they're probably closed? How many of those government offices are open on the 25th of December? Anywho, so that right there. And second, Robbie Parker. Man, this guy, I don't know. He can't have kids, because I got 3 kids, man. And I tell you, I can't even say it. Like, 24 hours later, you're going to get on and do an interview about your kid dying? Come on. Never happened. He's in there, he's laughing, and then 30 seconds later, I'm one of the parents of a slain child. Look, I can't. If some guy came up to me and says, "Hey, you want to do an interview of your dead daughter?" He would be dead. Come on, really? I just, I don't think I could handle that. I can't even handle talking about it. Whew. So they're all alive, okay? Just, I want to go and shout that on the rooftops, Like, nobody died. I spent all these years, like, man, can you imagine what their parents go through every day that their kid was shot? Watch the video, it never happened. So, yeah. And there's 200, if you type in Sandy Hook hoax, there's 212 videos the last time I checked on YouTube, and the majority of them are deleted or unavailable. But there's one still remains that people keep popping up, and you need to see that. It's the only one that matters out of all those videos. If Robbie Parker is lying, the whole thing's a lie. Correct? I mean, and not just that. How many parents testified and witnessed or gave it now? How many parents did interviews after the fact, within 24 hours, and how many of them promoted gun control? That's the whole narrative. There's helicopter video on one of them where it shows them just walking in one door and out of the fire barn, which is up higher. The whole Sandy Hook was closed years before, and there's just so many different things. Smarter men than me have put this all together. So there's a video of a helicopter aerial shot, and there's like hundreds of cars there. There's way too many people. It's like the whole town just short. And then they're just walking, and it looks like little ants, just walking in a little circle, in one door, out the other door, or up and around, in this door, out that door, in this door. What is the need for it? There's a sign in the back, everybody must check in. One guy's carrying a military rifle by the barrel, just walking around. They're actors. A couple of them have already been called out. They have pictures of one lady, and she's in San Bernardino as a witness to the Boston marathon bombing. She's a witness there. Watertown, witness. How convenient! This one lady's a witness of 4 different places. They're laughing at us, and then people are laughing at me. Oh, you're an idiot! You're an idiot! I'm not an idiot. I've just spent time to try to figure out if these people are actually dead. I mean, there's no nothing. They faked the gravestones. They made a bunch of stones. They stuck them on there and said there's dead kids there. I can't prove that there's not bodies in there. I don't want to dig it up, but I bet there's nothing in there. Sorry, That just tears me up. And I want people to be happy to the fact that there's no dead kids, you know? And be mad at the people that made you mad at the death of the kids. That's who we should be mad at, you know? Who's... Anywho. So, yeah, they lie to us. The media controls the whole narrative, and they need to put these videos out there to make us fear this or give up one freedom or divide us, you know, Republican, Democrat, you know, Catholic, Baptist, whatever, you know. Everybody's against everybody, and then they can just go ahead and just pick our pockets and, you know, do everything that they need to do to keep us sheeple. If you haven't heard that one, feel free to use it. Sheeple people. And they do this through the mass media, and the mass media is controlled by just 6 companies. They control what we watch, what we read, what we hear. Through these means, they create, with the help of Hollywood and other film-type companies, your reality. They create a reality to suit their hidden needs and agendas. Crisis actors are hired to trained a certain way. Some are hired to be witnesses, injured victims, loved ones, or even as far as to be murdered victims. San Bernardino, Boston Marathon, Virginia Live interview shooting. I think it's VJBJ, something like that. Try to find that one. That's nuts. Some guy, a disgruntled co-worker, walks down the boardwalk, holds a gun up for 20 seconds or 23 seconds, all within, you know, 3 feet of, and this is no, it's a black guy and with the gun and 3 real white people working for the news. They all work for three of them work for the news station. The guy with the gun had to work for the news station, but these 3 white people would have noticed 300, a big black guy coming at him with a gun, walk 300 feet up the creaky boardwalk, hold the gun for 23 seconds. Yeah, you'd whoa, antenna would, you know, spider senses tingling, you know, something's wrong here. That's what's going on over here. And the camera guys are standing off. Anyways, it's all fake. It's all just a bunch of stuff, you know, just to make us feel a certain way or, you know, belief. Belief gets crushed once you get truth. Once the truth hits, belief doesn't. Stop believing stuff. Do your homework and know. You know, I know this is true. You know, I don't believe anymore. You know, they manipulate the weather. HARP, high frequency active auroral research program. The narrative on it, as they say, is that we're studying the behavior and properties of the ionosphere. Yeah, the reality is. They're baking our sky with a focused energy beam. They can increase or decrease storms on our planet, and the government has over 200 patents on engineered weather modification, cyclones, hurricanes, aerosol vaccinations, aerosol viruses, and more. Chemtrails are real. They use weapons on us daily. Simple things, a cell phone, Wi-Fi, and look into the new 5G beast system. That's a fun one right there. That's going to be really good. Some are very sinister. DEW, directed energy weapon. It's a plasma or a microwave laser. It reduces the targets to dust. Any target that's not apparently wood or plastic, that doesn't seem to go up. California wildfires, they're doing it in Greece, Italy, France, all over. They got some, either they're going over with a drone or a plane or something, and just laser just wiping it right out. Go look at some of the pictures there. Engine blocks melted to liquid, it pooled across the roads, hardly any trees burned up, garbage cans, just perfect. There's one video of a mailman just going around just throwing mail in. There's no houses. I mean, reduced to like that much rubble. Toilets, granite countertop, fireplaces, tires, All right. So NASA lies, NASA government program. This is really going to be fun for you guys, so hold on. So NASA says, they did that whole moon landing thing, yeah. But apparently all of the videotape, the audio tapes, the telemetry data, everything that's on these cassette formats or reels, spool-to-spool reels, 8mm, all these different things, 200,000 individual tapes were conveniently lost or taped over due to a cost-saving method. Get millions of dollars a day. That's the cheapest stuff they could probably had that like newspaper back then. And they stated that no one could find the original video recordings of the 69 landing. Doggone. Satellites, were told by NASA, contain gold and aluminum. Temperatures where the satellites are said to range from 932 degrees, your oven, a little more, and 3,632 degrees Fahrenheit. Gold has a melting point of 1,942 degrees Fahrenheit. Aluminum is only 1,220 degrees. I just don't see with those parameters. So, I mean, if they stayed in the 932 the whole time, yes, but they wouldn't. They would have to go somewhere in that range. So, ipso facto, by their own their own numbers and the actual numbers of the scientists that we were supposed to believe in their data, which these scientists over here actually have melted the metals to find out. So I'm going to trust these guys a little bit more than NASA. Also, what kind of suits would you need for those temperatures? They go out and do moonwalks like they're walking the dog. They're painting the house, mowing the lawn. Excuse me. I don't know how many thousands of hours we have of them doing moonwalks. But even at the 932 degrees, I have to assume, being that there's no metal on the planet that holds up to that heat, it's going to be really hard to find some kind of clothing. What do I know? Not a scientist, genius, astronaut. And on to clicked on something, the flag, just a common nylon flag on the top, on the surface of the moon. And if you type in right now what it's made out of, they actually added on this little nice tidbit that they put in some wire around the edge, as if to make it look like it's moving with the wind. They put wire in there. It was last night I just heard about that. They added wire? Wow, that's a new one. Well, no wonder it moved. I mean, it had to have been with the wire. Anywho, I was trying to make this one quick. We're at almost 30 minutes. I apologize, and thank you so much if you've gotten this far. So NASA lies. You know what else they lied about is that 1986 Challenger explosion. I watched that in 6th grade. Hey, let's watch this thing here. Oh, boom! Okay, everybody died. Tragedy. They're still alive. Krista McCullough is now Sharon A. McCullough, who proudly works at the Syracuse University Law as an adjunct professor. I'm not sure what that is, but I have that all right here in my book here, and that'll be on part 2 if you'd like to give her a call and ask her what the real deal is. I don't know. They computer generated. By the way, all but one has been accounted for. There's an article on that on YouTube, if you believe the YouTuber who put it out there. It seems pretty credible, and a lot of them haven't even changed their names. They're laughing at us, guys. We don't pay attention to it. And then if we do pay attention, you're a tinfoil hat wearing conspiracy theorist. Yeah, that's what I woke up one morning and said, you know what I want? I want everybody to think I'm freaking nuts. What would be really fun is if I could alienate everybody in my entire family, because I'm I'm nuts. Yeah, that's what it. That would be really fun for me. That's what I'm going to do today. That's what it is. Hell no! I don't want to be this crazy person here. I'm not crazy. I'm sane. But my sanity sounds crazy to those who are still sheeple people. And I was one. I almost paid money to go to when I was down in Florida. I almost paid money to go to the Kennedy Space Center. I would have been so pissed. $100 a ticket. It was like $10 or $15 just to park there. And we got up there, and he wanted $500 for my family to go walking through this to see a bunch of rockets. And man, I'm thinking right now. Imagine all the people who pay all that money, or they're going to find out that this is all fake. So they use computer-generated images. I mean, a ton, and they glitch. There's one video of the guy he's going around the corner, floating around, hey, and then he disappears before he gets through the door. His arm just disappears. And another guy goes and grabs a ball that isn't there. If you're faking space, if you're faking the whole NASA program, there's got to be a reason for that, right? There is, and I'll get to that. Many images of our planet and moon are also provided by computer images, or dozens of issues of moon landing production by Stanley Kubrick. And it should prove once and for all it never happened. And if we never went to the moon, then all the other stuff is probably garbage. A couple of years ago, 2015, I think it was, they popped out with the Van Allen belts. We can't get through these Van Allen radiation belts. Why would you come out and say that you can't get through something that you've already did in '69? Whoops. Another astronaut says, I can't recall if we saw stars or not. What? You can't recall the most... This is the biggest day in your life. I mean, next to having your first child, probably. I can't recall if I saw stars or not, Bob. All right. So, jumping off of that, two military operations that need to be mentioned real quick: Operation Fishbowl and High Jump. Never heard of them. I understand it. They're pretty well hidden, clandestine operations. They don't want you to know about it, because if you know about them and you know why they did them, then you wouldn't believe the narrative that is currently going on about your planet and your reality. So we know your reality's changed. Now time to change your planet, okay? Operation Fishbowl. They shot 11 huge nuclear, biggest ones they could make, straight up into the sky for months. The narrative was that they wanted to scientifically test the effects of the exploding weapons in the sky, a bunch of numbers and science stuff for why they did it, and it's not the real story. And Operation High Jump was a military expedition to Antarctica, and the narrative there was to scientifically study the vast amounts of resources there, and that's not the real story either. The real story for this is that they discovered our planet is not what it seems. Remember from earlier? Your reality is not what you thought it was, right? Well, here we go. They figured out our globe is not a globe. It's actually a flat, motionless plane. And there's a dome firmament over us. Well, and the reason they shot those 11 up there, they're trying to blow that firmament up. Why would they want to do that? I have no idea. That would be, sheer death. If that ever failed, we're dead. That saves us from all the stuff of meteors that they say that we're never going to have a meteor shower. The meteor showers don't exist. Meteorites don't exist. All that stuff. There's no craters. Go look. Type in craters on Google, and you're going to find a bunch of computer pictures. There's one like rectangle. It looks like a bomb went off in the dirt. That's what I think that one was. And then a couple of other ones that just wouldn't be craters. Like craters they'd have come in an angle, have a long trail. There'd be stuff everywhere. The next. maybe comes to, but there'd be everywhere, and they're not. There's three, and they're not even. So, anyways, there's a dome. So the military wanted to try to blow that up, and then once they figured out there's a dome, they started looking into it more. And then there's old maps that show, the round, the disc Earth that we live on, and there's an edge, if you will, and that's Antarctica. That's the wall, and that's what Operation High Jump was for. They went up again a couple hundred feet to miles high. They have to go in order to get to the edge, which Admiral Byrd. You want to look up Admiral Byrd. He's been to the north and the south. As far as you can get to the south, there's no South Pole. Sorry, there's a magnetic North Pole. That's a whole other topic, but deeper down the rabbit hole. But well worth it, because it could very well lead to an inner Earth, a heaven on Earth. They call it Agartha, Shangri-La, Shambhala. There's a lot of different cultures have a name for an inner Earth, and another sun, like a black hole sun. There's a song about it. So, and then there's more. But anyways, there's a lot to it, and I'm not going to just try to. You're not going to, you're not going to grasp all. This is just going to touch on some stuff that I've come across, and then you just take the bits and pieces that you want to research and you want to explore more, and don't take my 100% advice, or just go and do your own thing. I could be wrong. I don't know. Go prove me wrong. I'd be loving it. And don't just hit me up with stuff like, this guy says, this, I've seen the curve for myself, and it's not, it's the fish eyes, it's perspective. Look into perspective. That's what that is. So let's look at space. Space is apparently water and luminaries. There's no satellites, space station, asteroids, comets, or any other related NASA objects that NASA says exist. Astronauts. Good news, we're not going to die from any meteor strike like the dinosaurs did. They went extinct because the oxygen levels dropped dramatically. Jurassic World, they had that little piece of amber, it had like the mosquito on it or whatever. Well, real scientists, extracted some material out of it. They did a test, and they found that the oxygen levels were way higher, crazy higher than they are right now, and that would result in a lot of. It would explain the giants, and there's one guy, I can't remember his name. Daydreamers. He said mountains are old tree stumps. So you start looking at it, like Devil's Tower in Wyoming has that's that whole thing. If you look at it, I mean, it's remarkable. It's a tree stump. So if you think all those trees that went miles high and you cut them all down, that would drop off a lot of oxygen, right? So that would and so somewhere along the way of that cutting down and to now, there was a flood or multiple floods, and it kind of petrified everything that was on the ground at that time, just a clean slate. And if you look, there's a lot of mountains that actually look like giants or animals. There's one that looks like an elephant, and you start looking into that, and you'll start seeing. And all this is here. I'll just wrap it up 40 minutes. Sorry. But I need to get this out, because I can't do this to every person I meet. They're just not going to want to talk to me. So if I'll put it down in an hour or so worth of stuff between the two, and watch it at your leisure. But there's a lot of different aspects on this, and the whole reason I'm putting this out there is because after I woke, I thought I was woke, and I wasn't. That wasn't awake. That was just me saying, this stuff's not right. Stuff, this guy does, the world's bad, whatever. You see things, but then so many people just want to have that blue pill experience. They don't want to know that this bad stuff is happening to them. They don't want to hear it. They just, well, what am I going to do about it? I don't know. Do you love anybody? Do you like anybody? Do you maybe want to just tell them kind of what's going on here? They've been lying to us for years and years to control us, to keep us downtrodden and fighting amongst yourselves. I work my butt off, and I work paycheck to paycheck. I can't imagine what these people do. They have to work, 2 or 3 jobs at $7, $8, $10 an hour. They don't have any time to do a research. Luckily, I had some time this month, and I'm behind on the bills. But this is so important, man. I gotta get it out to you guys. I mean, you're constantly being lied to, and anytime they say that here's something good that we come up with, I'll bet you anything it's probably not. Or, hey, we're thinking of trying this out. They've already tried it out. Listen to what they say and how they say it to you, because they're laughing at us. And I'm tired of getting lied to and laughed at, and I'm tired of not having nice stuff. I'm tired of having to get up every day and just say, okay, how much do I got to make to pay this bill over here? And then they take my money, and then they go over and they use it for military bombings on families. I don't want that. I don't even want to use money anymore. I'm tired of it. Jacques Fresco, resource-based economy. Take a look at this guy here. He passed on. I wish I had went and met him, but I didn't. And he made it over 100, and his whole entire life he's dedicated to try. And these are the people that get silenced. It's been tried to change the whole way we live on this earth. Just resource-based. Everything that's below your feet is a resource, and you're on the planet, you get a percentage of it. Money doesn't work because it all stays in the rich hands, and they're the ones printing it, and they're giving it to their friends. Look into the Fed. Yeah, that's the central banking system. They just print money. There's nothing. There's no gold standard. They don't back. Nothing's backed. They print it. They give it to their friends. They don't give anything to us. We get table scraps, and then we fight over it. I'll leave on that note. The part 2 is the book and references and a little bit more narrative. I tried to make it short, but I'm a chatterbox. So, again, thank you guys all. Love and light. Again, if any questions, just message me. Thank you. Bye.